All right, greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected and dummies are rejected. Suckers get disrespected. Light gets refracted. All right. What's up, y'all? How you doing? You stay off Facebook, Caleb. Good choice. Good choice. What? Going south. Your show. Well, why was it taken down? And why did they threaten you? I'm curious. That sounds I mean, it's not out of character for YouTube, but what would be the reasoning behind that? Did they give you a reason? I guess they don't need a reason. All right, we're live on X, Rockfin, Rumble, YouTube, and we're talking about all kinds of things. It's always good to reused words on it. It's a talk show. Okay. I guess that's the reason. It's always good to look at your alternative media heroes, with all kinds of skepticism. If you, maybe Phantomus, long time no see. What's up? It's good to look at people through a skeptical lens. And it is interesting, Jimmy Dore has a Rumble. I like Jimmy Dore. I still like Jimmy Dore. I think Jimmy Dore has a good heart, but he may be fully owned and operated by the ne'er-do-wells now. And this is 7C's pointing out Jimmy Dore gets paid by the wellness company to pretend to be surprised. Surprised about things. And this is, I guess he has a page on the wellness company website. That's interesting. Jimmy Dore also gets paid by 1775 Coffee, another brand under the Colson Capital Blackwater money pipeline. He's a gatekeeper getting money from Eric Prince and Mike Flynn. Jimmy is a mainstream alternative Muppet. What is he saying here? The 7 C's is responding to David Icke saying, I'm so sick of these people who told you to vote for Trump and now try to save their credibility by criticizing him for what an idiot, because he was always going to do. Israel owns Trump. You mean you didn't know that for at least a decade, Jimmy? Bullshit. I mean, I actually never heard. So when you're trying to, I'm not going to spend too long on this, but when you're trying to point fingers at people, it's good to do it truthfully. Like, I don't think Jimmy never said he voted for Trump and never encouraged anybody to vote for Trump. So I think I know what David Icke's trying to say there, and I think what 7 C's is pointing out about who is subsidizing Jimmy Dore's broadcasts. I mean, I think all those things should be very eyebrow raising for sure. But I've never once heard Jimmy Dore say Trump wasn't part of the deep state, or Trump wasn't a good, he was never like supporting Trump as a good guy. He always said, like, he was pointing out what he's always been doing and what a lot of people did. A lot of the same alternative media people did during Trump's last term and last run for office, was pointing out the inconsistency. Sorry. My wig is all over the place. What he was doing was pointing out the inconsistencies in how the mainstream media was covering Trump as opposed to other people. And I think, some people were pointing out some of the flaws. But like, in the Russiagate coverage, which a lot of people were saying this is all a bunch of bullshit. That wasn't support for Trump. They were just saying that it was a bogus investigation, you know. And what I always heard Jimmy Dore say was, if you want to prosecute, you should actually go after Trump for the things that he's actually doing, not the things that he didn't do. And that's why he was pointing out that it was all theater. So, I mean, in defense of Jimmy Dore, just a little bit, he's never been a Trump supporter, never told anybody to go out and vote for Trump. Never heard that from his mouth. So, if that's what you're trying to say, it's incorrect, David Icke. Sorry. He did not tell anybody to vote for Trump. Incorrect. I think he probably told people that, you know, Trump had a better, like exactly what I told people. Trump had a better angle on appealing to people than the Democrats did, because the Democrats weren't really trying, or didn't know, you know, how to tie their shoelaces and chew gum at the same time. Whatever it is, either they're stuck on stupid or they just were stuck on stupid on purpose. But they weren't really trying to appeal to people. And Trump, you know, at least gave people some raw meat to chew on. I never once told people to go out and vote for Trump, and neither did Jimmy Dore. So it's a little bit weird. It's a fallacious statement on some levels. But what Seven Seas is saying about his funding, the wellness company, and 1775 coffee, very eyebrow raising, very concerning. You know, it gives me pause. It gives me pause in Jimmy Dore's real intentions. But, you know, just a little bit of defense for Jimmy Dore there. And I don't think he's acting surprised. I think he's telling people what everybody else is saying. Everybody else is saying exactly the same thing. I don't see the problem there. Anyways, whatever. Let's talk about underground cities, shall we? What is this? A new story? What is this? More revelation of the method? What is this? Oh, could you guys see that one before? I apologize to you. Jimmy Dore became a prisoner to his lifestyle, and now he treats climate skeptics on Twitter as professional debunkers. Yeah, no, I mean, if anything, I agree with you, Phantomas. Jimmy Dore wants to keep the money rolling in, and it's hard to do that when, you know, your channel's being throttled on YouTube, and you probably have very, very powerful people interested in shutting you up, right? So I'm sure Jimmy Dore has been paid a visit by some very powerful people saying, like, well, you can keep your channel and all your money, but what we don't want you to do is do some real. But he's been, you know, he's had Whitney Webb on lately. He's, you know, he's telling people. I don't see that he's really like. I'm trying to think of something where he's actually told somebody like an you know, the only thing I can think of is the climate thing is the really annoying thing about that he's propping up, that he's gone full like climate. I don't know what denialism. I don't know what you call it, but he didn't know that much. Yeah, he didn't know that much about it in the first place. But you know, that part is annoying. Having John Heller on is ridiculous, but for the most part, I just can't really recall Jimmy pushing something that was really out there. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you know, people like Ian Carroll were telling people to vote. You know, he voted for Trump, and he was like, "Come on, everybody, let's go Maha." you could rightly point him out as somebody who said, vote for Trump, or I'm voting for Trump. Here I go. I'm going over to vote for Trump, get on the Trump train. But I never heard Jimmy Dore say anything like that. Exactly. He has to walk a delicate line, Denver. And what that's what I have always noticed about Jimmy Dore, is that he wasn't really willing to damage his respectability by going like too far out over the edge. And there's a lot of channels that do that. I don't think for the sake of being scared or timid. I think what they're doing is trying to make sure that they're not like going so far out there that they lose credibility as people that are giving people information. I actually can respect that that standpoint on some level, but there are not to say that there aren't a lot of quote unquote alternative media people out there that are fully co-opted and owned. But I see those people saying things that are dubious, putting out claims that are like, what you said, you were what is that, what did you just say? Anyways. Denver says Jimmy was saying if you prosecute Trump for bullshit and make things up like Russiagate, it only increases the chance he gets reelected. Kind of my takeaway of his messaging, and that is exactly what he said. Exactly what he said. He was like, you put out this fake narrative, and you just make him look stronger. You make him look like a martyr. And I, never once in my life have I heard Jimmy Dore say Trump is a great guy, go vote for him, he's a savior, he's going to help us. And no, never heard him say that. So maybe some people need to watch Jimmy Dore a little more instead of like talk about him without actually watching him or collecting information on him. But if anybody has a clip out there of Jimmy Dore saying like Trump's the guy, I'm riding with Trump, I'm doing the Trump train. If anybody has a clip of that, hey, send it to me so I can stand corrected. Yeah, so Bush official claims U.S. built secret $21 trillion underground city for rich and powerful to live if near extinction event happens. So again, they're just, here's, I think they're quoting Catherine Austin Fitts. Of course they're quoting Catherine. And I played this. I played this for you. She's been saying this for a long time. For what, 20 years at least. At least. Restricted Daily says we don't really have $36 trillion in debt. What we have is $21 trillion of our money pumped into underground infrastructure, secret tunnels, and black budget projects. The public will never see the debt. That's just a distraction they feed you while the real empire gets built beneath your feet. And I don't doubt for a second that this is happening. Is this actual footage of what it looks like? Donald Trump ate your cat, and Hitler loved dogs or something like that. I don't know, whatever. I think actually on the climate change thing, Judy, I think Jimmy Dore is trying to be he's trying to be hip, right? Because it's like a hip thing to do. Like all the people that are really super alternative media pros or amateurs or whichever, or not non-money making pros or whatever. All the people that know, are in the know, all I don't know if it's reflexively, dogmatically toe the climate change is a hoax line. So Whether Jimmy Dore believes it or not, I think he's trying to. I think on that subject, he's trying to just be hip. I don't really think, maybe he believes it, maybe he doesn't. But I think he's just trying to cater to a particular crowd, which is a large crowd now, of people who think that climate change is a hoax. Anyways, this has been a story that's been going on for years. The underground, the underground bases, the underground bunkers, if you will. All right. No, Jimmy Dore is not what he used to be, but is anybody? I don't know. Who are the? Give me your main, give me your main channels right now, people. Let me know. Let me know what you're listening to. I know a lot of people like the Duran. I like the Duran, but they're pretty straightforward. They're pretty much like, we're giving you the news. It's about a particular niche of the news, but Duran's pretty good. Hey, anybody, give me some channels. Give me some people you're listening to or watching. Who y'all watching? Who's your go-to if you're listening for the news? Who do you love? Who do you hate? Because I know you'd be hate watching people too. If you're hate watching me, that's cool. You're welcome. All right, I thought I was going to do like a fast-paced thing. Denver, weaponized news, Duran, David Knight, T-Lav, Blackburn News. All right. Well, hey, thanks, man. You got me in good company. I appreciate that. Jamal Thomas. I like Jamal Thomas. I didn't watch Jamal for several years. I like oh God, what's wrong with my name? My brain. My brain remembering names. I just faded out there for a second. Garland Nixon is awesome. Garland and Jamal do a show early in the morning on many days, and I listen to that a lot. Recipe 30, never heard of it. Chris Hedges, Richard Wolf, Electronic Intifada, Lee Camp, Status Quo. Okay. Yeah, Jamal's been plugging away for a long time. I appreciate Jamal. He's been going at it. He kind of went a little like TDS for a second. I think that's why I stopped watching him. This is around the January 6th thing many years ago. But I've been watching him more because he's been doing these shows with Garland. And Garland is solid. I mean, I love to watch Garland whenever I get a chance. Yeah. That man is a pro at turning on the camera and just talking for an hour and making you feel like you had a little TED talk there on what's going on. And it's not just, Duran is, really fact based, and not that Garland is not, but Duran does not embellish. Garland tells the news like a story and makes it super interesting because he uses all these analogies that make it just, easy to just kind of fall into and get lost in. All right. Trump's corruption hits next level with a shady $2 billion crypto deal. Did y'all hear about this? I mean, an investment firm backed by a foreign government just made a massive deal using the Trump family's crypto firm. These conflicts of interest here are unprecedented. This is from the New Republic. The Trump family's cryptocurrency business just got a $2 billion investment from a firm backed by the United Arab Emirates government. The deal is rife with conflicts of interest. Zach Witkoff, son of Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff, you guys have heard that name, and founder of the Trump family's crypto firm World Liberty Financial, announced the deal at a conference in Dubai on Thursday. He was accompanied by Eric Trump, who runs his family's business. The Emirati firm MGX will be using World Liberty's financial so-called stablecoin USD1 to make a deal with Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange. That is interesting, especially because Binance was under prosecution from the DOJ just a few months ago. False Flag Weekly News. Kevin Barrett. Oh yeah, he's great. RBN is good. Yep. Jamal Thomas called sane progressive a conspiracy theorist. Yeah. Yeah, there's, sometimes Jamal can be a little bit, I don't know what you want to call it, blue MAGA or Democratic MAGA, liberal MAGA, I don't know. Sometimes he takes somewhat mainstream liberal views that I just don't really find all that enjoyable, but mostly he's pretty good. Anyways, with this deal, the Trump family will be enriched beyond most people's comprehension, and they have the UAE government to thank for it. One can predict that Trump is likely to treat the country very favorably from here on out, again demonstrating that his power does have a price. Yeah, I mean they've done away with a lot of the hunting of the crypto firms. They still really haven't opened back up. There's a lot of crypto platforms that kind of went down during the Biden administration that I have been checking in on, and I haven't really seen them go back up. So they haven't got the clearance to come back. So there's a bit of a murky, but it's been 3 months of the Trump administration, not even 3 months. What is it now? I guess it's 3 months. 3 months of the Trump administration. So, who knows? Things can be all over the place. But for the most part, the shuttering and the silencing of the crypto world that was happening under the Biden administration has been reversed mostly because the Trump family itself sees how lucrative it is right now, and they're trying to cash in before maybe they themselves turn around and deem all of our crypto illegal. That's a possibility. Watch out for that. Seriously, anybody out there that's in the crypto land, watch out. If you think that Trump is super cool and nice about crypto, there is another story though I wanted to read about that, and that or just really quickly, that the Trump administration is considering buying 1 million Bitcoin. 1 million Bitcoin. As the crypto reserve, or to get the federal crypto reserve going. No. And apparently this is they're floating this. It's not a thing that they're doing yet. He did sign an executive order establishing the crypto reserve. But we'll see. And we'll see what this does to the actual price of crypto. But what I was saying was that, watch out for Trump being super bully on crypto and getting everybody, into the market. This could also happen too. I mean, if they're setting up a Bitcoin reserve, probably wouldn't be very helpful if they jacked everybody by going after crypto exchanges again or trying to shut down crypto. But there could be a way that they greatly limit the ability to exchange it. Let's see. You like Grand Theft World? I like Grand Theft World. The first thing, this is old as dirt. Do Dissidents? They're good. They're good. Duran, Garland, Nixon. Okay. Okay. You guys know what's up. I see you guys. What's that? My cat is trying to get on my lap. Come here. Hey. No? Is that a no or is that a yes? Here. You guys want to see my cat? Here we go. Hecklefish. He's pretty good. All right. Did you hear that? All right, real quick, a couple of things Victory Gin sent me. Just for interest's sake. An oven that cooks with the power of the sun. This is pretty cool. Keep this.
Developed by the French carpenter Thierry, the solar oven is designed to cook, reheat, or defrost food without using any gas or electricity. The oven is equipped with reflective mirrors that direct and focus sunlight into the cooking chamber. Inside the cooking chamber, the dark cookware soaks up this focused light, and the thick insulation in the wooden walls keeps that heat from leaking out. The oven's temperature can be adjusted by changing its position based on the sun's angle, which means pointing it directly at the sun increases the heat, while shifting it to a less direct angle keeps it cooler. The oven heats up to a maximum temperature of 150 degrees Celsius, which is ideal for slow cooking that retains food's nutrients and enhances its flavor. The system works best on sunny days, but it can also function in winter, although cooking times may be a bit longer.
Are they cooking a quiche in that thing? Oh, that looks good.
This handmade oven cooks your food by using sun's free.
All right. Anybody have a solar stove? I want a solar stove. Bet you can make one. Go Sun oven, more portable. Okay. Here's a thread about how Burberry, I know we've talked about this before. Many clothing manufacturers do just this thing. They burn and or destroy their inventory so that they could what? Make more. Oh, geez. Hold on one second. And it's a despicable activity. Burberry burned $36 million of clothes in 1 year, not because they couldn't sell them, because they didn't want you to have them. The disturbing truth about luxury's dirtiest secret. In 2018, a shocking line appeared in Burberry's annual report. People missed it, but hidden the financial statements was something disturbing: the systematic destruction of $36 million of perfectly good merchandise, and that was just the beginning. Over 5 years, Burberry destroyed 90 million pounds worth of products. Pristine trench coats burned, never worn scarves incinerated, brand new perfumes destroyed. But here's the truly mind-blowing part before we continue. Blah, blah, blah. This isn't just Burberry being wasteful. It's hard to say that over and over. It's a calculated strategy used across the luxury industry. They use specialized waste disposal companies to destroy unsold goods, complete with strict security protocols and documentation. The scale is staggering. Richemont, Cartier's parent company, destroyed $563 million worth of watches. Other luxury giants regularly destroy excess inventory. Major brands run routine inventory cleanses, but why would billion-dollar companies burn money like this? I think we know. Do we have to go on? Need I go on? Creative Experiments says bicycle companies. You know how many bikes there are in the world? I said this. There's no need to make any more bikes, especially if they don't destroy the ones they already made. Everyone on the planet could have a bike if they stop making bikes right now. You just get all the old used bikes, put the parts together, make a bike for your friends and neighbors and your family, and there you go. Go off a riding. Not only do we have more than enough stuff, we have more than enough inventory of stuff. All right, let's talk about gain of function a little bit. A Jeffrey Sachs video going around where he claims that it came from the University of North Carolina. This is his claim. And it's kind of a thing that's been, right? There was the Trump administration put empty the storage units. Exactly, Jay Gibbons. The Trump administration, extra bullet, right? Bella, yeah. The Trump administration put out that lab leak page on the White House website about how they think COVID started in Wuhan. Jeffrey Sachs is like, no, hold on. It was in the U.S. And think about it. Think about it. There were so many people that complained of COVID-like symptoms in 2019, like several people. People I don't know personally, but I guess, people twice removed from me. There were a few people I heard being like COVID sick in 2019. So it's not a stretch.
I'll tell you a sad truth.
Sorry.
Also a little surprising. And I have to admit, what I'm about to tell you is only 99% sure.
99%.
But my view, based on
I'm Jeffrey's
very extensive work over the last 4.5 years, is that COVID came from the University of North Carolina, which is the leading researcher on beta coronaviruses, working with the U.S. government on a set of grant proposals that identified putting in the viral change that created SARS-CoV-2. It's a grim truth. It's ugly. It's been hidden from view. The reason I mention it in this context is we don't have any global governance that is effective right now to control the manipulation of dangerous pathogens like the manipulation that created the pandemic. And when it happened, and officially it took 7 million deaths, but probably if you count all of the deaths associated with COVID, it was probably closer to 20 million deaths.
That's assuming COVID was actually a thing that happened. I mean, I'm a bit more of the mind that maybe it was just and that's what a lot of people called it, a pumped up flu virus. But pumped up enough to put people, if elderly die from the flu, from a regular flu, if you pump up a flu virus enough and make it just a little more hard to endure, well, you could take out a few more people, and and then there's all the other funny business that went on around it.
Even when that happens, it's never properly investigated. It's covered up. It's hidden from view.
This is a big claim. It's the first time that I hear it. Can you tell us a bit more about this? How and why? And
okay. Where is this? I want to know. I want to know where this... Does anybody know where this is taking place? think people had questions about the venue and the time that this happened. Yeah, the the government response killed people. How many died from the virus and got government response intentions? Yeah. A lot in the response. I was just speaking with a friend recently about that. How it was the response to it was the thing that took a lot of people out. And I don't have time to go into all the myriad ways. Yeah, and maybe the whole Wuhan lab leak concept is there to disguise a lab leak from U.S. soil. Yeah, Fort Detrick possibly. Yeah, Ryan Christian has been doing some work on that lately about the idea that maybe Fort Detrick was a place that COVID came out of, or that there was a shutdown of Fort Detrick right before COVID, the outbreak. So, and apparently there's a shutdown now. World Military Games, Wuhan, October 2019. There was also, wasn't there another tabletop exercise? Was it Event 201 or something like that? And where did that happen? A man was charged with killing a cop hours after he watched the body cam footage of cops killing his teenage son. And imagine, I'm sure he was, he was hopping mad. Look at his face though when he walks past the cops. He doesn't have any fucks to give at all, because when you take out a cop, you're pretty much like signing a death sentence. And he's looking at the cops. He's like staring down the cops and like challenging them. This is a crazy video, but hold on. Let's watch this.
Go. Yesterday, a Cincinnati police officer shot and killed someone running from police.
Recently retired sheriff's deputy is dead after police say a driver intentionally hit him.
As you know, we had a critical incident yesterday in the city of Cincinnati, an officer-involved shooting at approximately 9 a.m. yesterday morning. There is a connection between these two incidents. The driver of today's vehicle that struck a deputy has a family relationship with the 18-year-old that we shot yesterday.
It's tragic. That is a tragic story. And here's another tragic story. U.S. cost of Israel's genocide. Taxpayer cost $57.3 billion. $3 billion per month. $99 million a day. Per CENTCOM, we're currently running a 24/7 combat operation in the Red Sea with 2 carrier strike groups, all in service of Israel. Now consider the cost of war with Iran. $550 million in aircraft equipment that have been destroyed. And the IDF has been targeting the Yemenis now. Yeah, this is that's the other thing I wanted to cover about the. Sorry, I skipped over something. here with the COVID stuff. Thought I had it there. You're right. Going south. I meant to have it in that group of stories. But we'll go back real quick. Speaking of gain of function, Trump just signed an EO suspending gain of function work in the U.S. Although some people are, looking at this and with a critical eye and seeing that there are loopholes involved. This could shake up the entire biotech industry and signals a major shift in how America handles pandemic threats. Trump's new executive order halts all U.S. federal funding for gain-of-function research in countries like China and Iran. So this is where people are getting... It actually halts U.S. funding for gain-of-function in other countries, but not necessarily in the U.S. So there's some fine print in there that I think people might be missing. Gain-of-function research is that intentionally makes viruses more dangerous. It's the kind of research EcoHealth Alliance was doing with the Wuhan Institute of Virology, the same place many believe COVID-19 leaked from. And now Trump is calling it what it is, a national security threat. The EO goes beyond foreign funding, suspends risky biological research in the U.S. until new oversight rules are in place. Okay. Introduces actual enforcement mechanisms and self-reporting loopholes that researchers use to bypass biosafety regulations. And here's the kicker. Trump's framing this not just as a safety issue, but a biotech sovereignty play. America should lead the world in health innovation, but without gambling on supercharged viruses that could leak and kill millions. Okay, so this is, if this is what it is on the surface, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. For years, the scientific establishment treated gain-of-function critics like conspiracy theorists. But the thing is that Obama, there was a moratorium on gain-of-function, I think, under Obama as well. So it's not that far-fetched. And everybody knows that it's dangerous work. There was a moratorium on gain-of-function under Obama, and Fauci found ways to elude that moratorium, that's why they offshored so much of it, because there was a moratorium, I think, in place in the States, but I don't know, how much it covered international gain-of-function work. For years, the scientific establishment treated gain-of-function critics like conspiracy theorists. Now we have a presidential order banning it outright. Not the first time. Citing COVID-19 and even the 1977 Russian flu as likely lab leaks. The Overton window just shifted. Okay. Of course, critics will say this could slow innovation. But the EO is clear. Productive research continues, just not the kind that risks another global pandemic. So somebody's pointing out the order does not ban it in the U.S. So it bans the funding of research elsewhere, but maybe not in the U.S. This is what Anna Matson is pointing out. The order seems more concerned about ending this research in other countries. For the U.S., it says shall establish guidance for the Secretary of Health and Human Services and heads of other relevant agencies with respect to suspension of federally funded dangerous gain-of-function research. It doesn't end the funding of gain-of-function. It establishes guidance to do so. Anyways. They go on to say the Biden administration, the order, blames Biden for gain-of-function. The Biden administration allowed dangerous gain-of-function research within the United States with insufficient levels of oversight. But did President Trump forget that COVID happened under his presidency? All right. Kind of forgetting that part. And if you think that he was just like unawares or like, I don't know. I didn't know this was going on. Well, yeah, you greenlit Operation Warp Speed. You knew what was going on. You knew exactly what you were doing. You knew what it was all about. So there's no way that you can greenlight Operation Warp Speed and not know what's going on. So there's, all the people that are trying to excuse Trump with the, well, he just didn't know. He is new here. Yes, going south. Obama's moratorium was for research in the USA. So they went around it by going overseas. Yeah. All right. And they've had the Ukraine biolabs for a long time. Trump also signed an executive order to streamline pharmaceutical manufacturing in the U.S. What does that mean, streamline? Like deregulate? Okay. Who knows? This order also enhances inspections of foreign manufacturing facilities. Okay. All right. So, maybe it's a good thing. Who knows? What else is happening? There was a huge data breach, and this is a really scary one. Apparently, some of these e-commerce sites were infected as much as 6 years ago. And then this virus suddenly, or whatever it was, turned itself on years and years later. It's wild. Hundreds of e-commerce sites hacked in supply chain attack. At least one owned by a large multinational company, which they will not name. What are the guesses on that one? They were backdoored by malware that executes malicious code inside the browsers of visitors. Yikes! Where it can steal payment card information and other sensitive data. Security researchers said Monday. The infections are the result of a supply chain attack that compromised at least 3 software providers with malware that remained dormant for 6 years and became active only in the last few weeks. Who else had some things in an operation, a military operation that was dormant for many years and then suddenly woke up and exploded all over the place? I wonder who does stuff like that. I know you can't blame everything on one group of people, but who knows? Or one country, I guess. The infections are the result of a supply chain attack that compromised at least 3 software providers. With malware that remained dormant for 6 years, became active only in the last few weeks. At least 500 e-commerce sites that rely on the backdoored software were infected. I know. Oh no. Take all your credit card information off of all sites right now. And it's possible that the true number is double that. Researchers from security firm Sansac said among the compromised customers was a $40 billion multinational company, which Sansac didn't name. I don't know. I feel like they're telling you without telling you. In an email today, a Sansac representative said that global remediation on the infected customers remains limited. Code execution on visitors' machines. The supply chain attack poses a significant risk to the thousands or millions of people visiting the infected sites because it allows attackers to execute code of their choice on e-commerce site servers. From there, the servers run for info stealing code on visitor machines. Since the backdoor allows uploading and executing arbitrary PHP code, the attackers have full remote code execution and can do essentially anything they want. 3 suppliers identified were Tigran, Mage Solution, and Mitanshi. All 3 software supply software that's based on Magento, an open source e-commerce platform used by thousands of online stores. All right. Say what? Trump's ICE deportation plane hacked by anonymous abducted immigrants identified. Okay. That's an interesting story. Let's see. A couple of more things before I leave you all. By the way, guys, I don't know. It's a possibility there won't be a show tomorrow, or there's a possibility that I might do the show later in the day, like say in the afternoon, maybe 5, or that would be the evening, but maybe 5 p.m. Pacific. But it's looking unlikely that it'll happen at noon tomorrow. In which case, I will be back. If I'm not here tomorrow, I'll see you on Thursday, and we will be. I'll have a second mic on Thursday, and that will be Denver Attaway. He's going to be joining the show, and we'll be running it down, talking about this and that. Okay. Also, if you enjoy the show, if you support the show, if you like the show, if you want to see the show keep on being a show, and it's helpful if you want me to keep on showing up. Grandpa jokes. Yeah, if you want to support the show, there's lots of ways to do it in the description box of any of the platforms that you're watching on. All the usuals are there: Venmo, PayPal, CashApp, Zelle, Buy Me a Coffee, Ko-Fi, etc., 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 etc. There's also a link tree on my X profile. You can check me out there. Extinction Audi will be live on X Spaces tomorrow night, guys, if you want to watch that. The chow must go on. Yeah. Little puppy humor there. Scott Besant. The U.S. government will never default. We will raise the debt ceiling. Thought the debt was bad now? Well, we know what to do with that. Print. Start the presses. Print the money.
The United States government will never default. That we
default.
will raise the debt ceiling, and Treasury will not use any gimmicks. We will make sure that the debt ceiling is raised. The United States government will never default. That we will raise the debt ceiling.
Seems pretty adamant. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. We are the world's currency. We will print more. Oh, a couple of things. I want to cover this before I go. This is interesting. First up, they are trying to rewrite history, or at least censor out the parts to people that might suggest to people that there are things they can do to take control of their future. The American oligarchs have now resorted to censoring the opening scene of Robin Hood. Apparently, Amazon has edited out the opening exposition text from Robin Hood 2010. In times of tyranny and injustice, when law oppresses the people, the outlaw takes his place in history. Okay. That's one way to do it.
Intro to Robin Hood 2010. Notice how The intro's gone. You can't read it. Can't read what it says. Do you know what it says? You know what it's supposed to say? It's supposed to say, in times of tyranny and injustice, when law oppresses the people, the outlaw takes his place in history. I wonder why, right now, Amazon Prime would take that out. The intro to Robin Hood 2010.
Right. I'm going to stop.
Notice how...
Now, listen to this young man, child, some people might call him, explain why the Mandela effect is happening, and it has to do with CERN. This is a pretty wild theory. This is very interesting stuff right here. Let's listen.
The Mandela effect and how the particle accelerator altered the weight of one electron and therefore destroyed our universe and shifted us into the universe that's directly next to it, and therefore things are different in this universe.
Okay, did you hear that? Effect. He said because of the CERN particle accelerator, when they turned it on, what did he say? They destroyed an electron and destroyed our universe, and we shifted into the next possible timeline. And this is why the Mandela effect is happening? Okay.
And how the particle accelerator altered the weight of one electron and therefore destroyed our universe and shifted us into the universe that's directly next to it, and therefore things are different in this universe.
So you believe that this thing that some people call the Mandela effect is actually real?
Oh, absolutely real.
Can you describe what it is for people who have never heard it before?
Sure. So the Mandela effect is the effect of some people thought that Nelson Mandela died at a certain time, and other people remember it as a different time. And this goes for a lot of other things, Star Wars, classic videos, Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. Everybody knows that. Well, if you actually look back to the original film, it's not Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. It's Magic Mirror on the Wall. And some people actually...
Which, of course, it's not.
It's not,
in the reality I grew up in.
Right, exactly. In an alternate expansion of our universes. Even in my own scientific notes, I've found rewritten signatures and things that are a little bit different from originally what I wrote.
So how did that actually happen? Let's take your notebook, or let's take Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, like an old film, animated film. How did it actually change?
Well, it never changed. We changed. You see, we were moving relative to our universe, and then our universe destroyed. So now the universe started to move, or I guess our parallel universes, our multiverse started to move parallel to us because we were out of alignment, and that just destroyed everything. So technically, the universe didn't change, we did.
I just had a little pause there. Just my accident. We weren't deleting anything. People were saying, "Oh, what's going on?" Because I had a text coming in. So there are two studios, let's say the Disney studios. One studio, Studio A, creates a film that has Magic Mirror on the Wall. Another studio says Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. Is it two separate studios, or what happened?
No, same studio, different timeline. So good thing we have a multi-layered napkin.
This is very high tech.
Yeah.
In terms of our graphics.
Definitely sophisticated.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so as I said,
because I love that one, because everyone remembers Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. I mean, there's no one, and there's a whole Sally Field. You like me, you really, really like me,
yeah.
Blah blah blah. And
build
now
it,
it's
they
like
will come, build it, he will come. The peace sign.
Oh really? I didn't know about that one.
Oh yeah, there's so much. I have a record of all the ones that I've been able to.
Of course, you do.
Some other stuff that I should tell you personally about later.
Okay.
Anyway,
wait.
So yeah, infinity down the line from our original timeline, where here's ours, and of course this timeline is only moving forward because, well, the expansion of infinite number of realities behind it. But what happened was we made this universe sort of out of balance, and our universe,
because of the collider, the super collider.
Yeah, we altered the weight of a single electron, which I believe shifted us into a parallel universe, considering that because of the chain reaction that could have catastrophically destroyed our universe. I mean, even when we thought about starting it, we thought our universe would implode, and then it didn't, and we're like, oh, it's okay. Well, maybe it did implode. We just instantly got shifted to another universe.
And that's your belief?
Right, in my belief. Of course, this is just a theory, and it's still being developed.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe in that infinitely small moment of time, we were instantly shifted.
Okay. Okay, just something to think about for the rest of the day, all right? And this is why everybody's confused about... No, I swear to God it was mirror on the wall. No, for real. Fruit of the Loom did have a cornucopia of fruit. It was Berenstain, etc., etc. Well, there was another... I just saw another video about a guy who studied, he kept having, premonitory dreams. He would dream things that would come true in the future. And so he started studying his dreams and others' dreams and basically creating a big database about dreams. And his conclusion was that there's an infinite amount of timelines, and we exist on all these timelines at the same time, past, present, future. And when we're asleep, our consciousness can tap into these different timelines. That's where the feeling of deja vu comes from, because you're probably experiencing something that you dreamt or are going to dream. I don't know. It's interesting stuff to think about. All right. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. If I'm here tomorrow, I probably will be here later on. But I don't know. Tomorrow's just kind of it's a random. We'll see what happens. I may do the show at noon. I may do the show a little bit later. There may be a possibility that I don't do the show at all. I'm not sure. It's just kind of, I have to leave my day open tomorrow. But I will be back Thursday for sure at 12 p.m. Pacific. Thank you all for hanging out. Don't know if I have anybody to thank. I don't think so. And I will see you on the next go round. All right. Peace out.